right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the call, everyone. My name is Tim Damron. I am the director and, and the boss tonight. No, I'm kidding. Now, I'm the director and also the pastor at the House of Yah Community Outreach. We are a full-service, non-for-profit. We are here to help everyone. We are focusing all of our fundraising, though. However, we're focusing all of our fundraising on the upcoming project that we have for our veterans. We are trying to purchase some property and a couple of houses, maybe, so that we can turn them into facilities for these guys can live out the rest of their days, and we can take care of them. They deserve it, and that's why I do what I do. Well, I do it because of Yahweh too, most importantly. But anyway, I want to welcome everyone to the call tonight. We're going to have a fantastic call tonight. Tonight, we're not going to be talking necessarily about, well, actually, we are going to be talking a little bit about false teachers. Before we get started, before we get going, I want to clean up a couple of things from the call that we had. We had a question that was out there about LexisNexis. You want to go ahead and send them a letter, and I'm going to give you their address. It's LexisNexis Risk Solutions Bureau, LLC. And that is Risk View Customer Inquiry Department. That's going to be their area. It's Post Office Box 105108, Atlanta, Georgia, 30348. And their phone number, 1-8666. I'm sorry, 1-866, too many sixes, 897-8126. And those of you guys in the that are here via Uber conference, I'm going to go ahead and put that number in the note box. And those of you guys that are out there in TikTok land wondering what is Uber Conference? Well, Uber Conference is the other board that we use. I'm happy to answer all your questions out there, and I'm wonderful, you guys. Thank you. Thank you guys for all of your great thoughts, great wishes out there. I appreciate that. Yes, we are doing really, really well, actually. We're very close to getting some property, and we're just praying that this is the right choice. So I'm praying that Yahweh will work his miracles on this deal. And it's not really a whole lot of miracles necessarily, too much. Just it's just things going in the right place at the right time. So, and Yahweh is just wonderful when it comes to timing. He's like the best when it comes to timing. So, we're just seeking Him on all things and regarding that. And I want to tell you, we had a wonderful, wonderful class. This past weekend, we just had a really great class in the travel and driving class. It was fantastic. I want to thank all the students that finished the class and made it out there without having. And 6 hours in 2 days with just straight. Fix that. As I was saying, 6 hours and spread out over 2 days, consecutive days. It's a lot of information. So those of you guys that were able to get it all done and get your paperwork done, my hat's off to you, and congratulations to each and every one of you. Like I said, we had a wonderful class. We had a lot of great questions. Stacy was there, and I feel really confident that these folks that left my class actually left with something. They didn't leave with more questions. They left with conclusions and facts. And yes, this is how it works. And you know what? We saw it work that way. And I think that's missing. I think that's missing in a lot of these teachers and these movements that are out there. Look, man, I want to be free too. But you can't lie to yourself to be free. It's just not possible. I mean, I guess you could, but that's harboring a spirit, a narcissistic spirit. It's a Jezebel spirit. Yeah, even guys get it too, man. And, we don't want to do that. I don't want any part of that. Absolutely not. But what I do want is I want everything that Yahweh wants to give me. And, we have the close of the Gregorian year is coming up. And I really would want you to consider this. Start this year with Yahweh. I want you to look at your past years and tell me how well you did pushing that little turd around your backyard. Probably not a good job. Or maybe you did. But you're probably tired because that turd is right back in the same place where it started. And Monday morning, it's going to be there again. Can I tell you? Give Yahweh that shot. He deserves it. Okay? Not just because he gave his son, but only, but just because of just those people would play better odds at the casino, honestly. If they were picking out the slot machines, they'd pass on that one if you were the slot machine because the odds aren't good. And I felt like that guy too. I know what that guy feels like. And I just, Yahweh just put a message on my heart. And I just want to tell you guys this year, take that time to reflect. Take that time. And if it means, do what it takes. Do what it takes to get to know your Heavenly Father. Okay? Jesus, you're not going to get to know him. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get to know the Messiah either. He's at the right hand of the Father. But you will get to know his Elohim. And you will get to know the Holy Spirit, because that's all that's here right now in Yahweh. So I encourage you this year, straighten it up. Level up, guys, gals. Be better leaders in your house. Be better leaders where you need to be. And if we can all do that and let the Spirit of Yahweh move within us, we'll see the perfection that we're looking for. You'll see the satisfaction in your government. You'll see the consideration from your leaders. But it's because we've abandoned that and we decided to go do our own thing. Well, I'm going to tell you, when I looked back at my own thing, it wasn't working out. And Yahweh completely changed me and put me through the fire, roasted me and everything. I'm telling you. And it was worth it. And I say this because a lot of you guys are going through this process and you're really wanting truth over everything else. Somebody says birth certificate. You want the truth. You want it right now. But stop looking at these men for truth. Stop looking at me for truth. Because all I can tell you is what Yahweh has done for me. I have no wisdom that didn't come from him. So talk to the boss. That's why Yeshua died, not Jesus. Yeshua died so that we could talk to him. And I'm going to tell you, if you want to know my big secret on how I got through all this stuff and how I figured it out, class, you guys, students, it was Yahweh. And it was perfecting my walk. Because here's what he does. When you do what he tells you to do and you try to really follow him to the T, I mean, really, like he's first, the first thing you think of when you get up in the morning, he's that guy. And when he's in that place in your life, he's going to really, really bend the trees for you in any direction that he needs to. And if you need closure about something, if you've been burned by the court system like me, had your kids taken away from you, and you needed to have just that, I know, okay, now I know how they did it. You need that. You're not going to get it from anywhere else but Yahweh, because that's what I got. And as soon as I got that, I could heal. I could get better. And then once that happened, well, I started to see over the fence of everything. So that's where all this stuff came from. Tonight, I'm going to share with you guys some stuff, some good nuggets, okay? Because this is our job. My job to the public is to make sure that you guys have truth. That's what these preachers are supposed to be doing, not lying to you and telling you that there's raptures coming and we won't see any tribulation. The six bowls already been poured, buddy. It's already happened. So they all lied. Just letting you know that now up front. Do you know why? Because they were listening to other men. Had they been tuned into Yahweh, you would have lost that. You know? So I want to tell you, there's a lot of folks out there. There's a guy out there. His name is Chris Hauser. A lot of folks are, what's up, guys? A lot of folks are following this guy. And he just popped up out of hiding, I guess, for 6 months or something. And yeah, we're going to test this guy. Absolutely, Stacy. Yeah, test him good. So, and I actually had some words with him too, by the way. So this is just based on what I my information that I have. So here's what I hear from this guy. I hear that number one, he disappeared for 6 months and people were looking for him. And apparently people were driving to his house and calling him on the phone and wanting answers. And he was really having a hard time about that. Actually, he was very upset in his little video, and he was kind of telling everybody that he wasn't okay with that. And, it was rude and it was this and this. And my comment to him, and he responded to it, but my comment to him was this: if you weren't making promises you couldn't keep, people wouldn't be looking for you. That's right. Why do you think he had to tune out for 6 months? He probably just had to debrief his own BS. Because then he later comes back to tell us that he's having meetings with people that work at the Treasury, and they're telling him how to do it. I'm going to show you guys something. Hold on a second before we get into that. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish roasting this one. I'm going to put the apple in his mouth too. So then he claims, I'm going to tell you, number one, the banking industry is compartmentalized. There's one or two people that know what everything that is going on, and that's it. Okay? And I assure you, they don't know enough to go on to go get all this stuff and make themselves personally wealthy. Because if they did, they would have already done it, or they would have done it with their friends. Here's another thing too, boys and girls. Here's a dose of reality for you. This is why this stuff doesn't work. This is why, if you listen to this, it's a bunch of stories. It's a bunch of stories. Guys, stop following these people. Check out their stuff. Really. And yeah, because these people want attention. That's why. These people are compulsive liars because they want attention. Okay? And this has been going on for a long time. Long time. It's part of our culture. It's part of what we do, unfortunately. And it's not necessary. But to him, he feels like it is. This man also proceeds to give you tax advice, and he has no background in the tax department. Doesn't know anything about it. But he claims to know how to use all this stuff, to do all these things. And I heard him on his video say that, well, some of you guys are having trouble with your W-4 sandwiches because of blah, blah, blah. But I'm assuring you that there actually are getting done, and this and this and this. So that tells me that we're having problems with the process. And somebody disappeared for 6 months because they didn't want to face the heat. And you guys are crawling back to him like he's Bon Jovi. Come on now. Guys, we got to be smarter than this. Let's talk about these tax things that he's talking about. Now, I'm going to tell you this on the December the 20th, I have a tax, equity, and discharge class. If you want to learn how this stuff really works, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to have a tax preparer on the call with me to answer any questions that I can't answer. Or she may just take over the whole thing. I don't know what's going to happen. But I have somebody that's a professional that does this, that's certified to do this. And not only that, they can do your taxes too. You know why? Because we're doing this. We're not talking about it, Chris Hauser. We're not wishing it was true. We're not trying to wish it into existence. David Straight. It's nonsense. And that's not going to get it done. Ever. And here's what we have. We have a lot of people that are chasing. Hold on a second. We have a lot of people that act just like they drive. You ever notice, like, if you ever been in San Antonio, it takes forever for these people to go. You know why? Because they're not watching the light. They're watching the bumper in front of them. They're watching everything else but the light. And that is a metaphor. And you know what? They're missing it. And the people that are awake are back there blowing their horns. Come on, man. A little consideration, please. But they're asleep. They're asleep. They're looking for another man to follow them. And you know what? If that's you, this is not your movement. Go back to your master. He'll give you lots of shampoo and everything if you just do what he says. If you just make sure you hit all those check marks. But that's the price of leaving all that, you see, because then you get to manage your stuff. Now, I talked to a young lady yesterday, or maybe today. I think it was today. And she was talking to me about acquisitions. And she says, and one of the issues that I have, and this is what I'm going to be talking about in the December 20th class, is how these people are talking about buying stuff with a 1099A because it's an acquisition for abandoned property. Do we know what acquisition even means? Well, let's see what acquisition means. Hold on a second. I'm gonna look it up here. Let's see. There it is. An asset or object bought or obtained, typically. Yeah, it's something that you buy. So when these people say that they're filling out an acquisition for abandoned property, that means it's because it's something you bought, or that's something that you have. You cannot go and present one of these and just go acquisition a house. Why? Because the definition clearly states you have to buy it first. Hello. Nobody's acquired a piece of property with a 1099A. That's my point, Stacy. That is totally my point. And it can't happen. It absolutely cannot happen. And the reason why is because because you have not purchased it yet. Why are these people telling you guys this? Because they want attention. There's something wrong with these people. There's something wrong with these people. They want attention. Okay? I mean, I'm serious. There's something broken up here. When you look around in their background and behind them and you see like nothing, I mean, like they're in their kitchen. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm in my kitchen too, and I shoot a lot of these too, but I'm in my workspace right now. I mean, you can tell I actually do something around here. I mean, this is a whole lot of setup for nothing. So this is what you should be seeing when you're getting information from somebody like that. Not a bunch of hair and hippie clothes and a bunch of it doesn't fit the profile. It doesn't. And who told you that acquisition meant that was buying something? Just go look it up. Why is this happening? Because people are following men and they're not following Yahweh. And when you don't follow Yahweh, you don't have the discernment. And you start accepting garbage in your life, or you start digging through somebody's trash looking for a nickel when you stay on those calls till like 4 o'clock in the morning and you're talking about nothing. Good evening, everybody. You know what I'm talking about? This is what I'm talking about. Guys, Yahweh has a much bigger purpose for you. He has a purpose for you, but he can't use you if you're chasing men around. You need to be chasing him around. Oh, that's just so weird. Look at these people at these football games. They'll paint themselves anything so they can be seen. That's what Yahweh wants from us. And you're not going to get a beer and a hangover for it. You're going to get a blessing. You're going to get through this. I did. I miss my kids dearly. I do. But Yahweh healed everything. And I have complete closure about everything in peace. And can I tell you, only Yahweh can do that. Listen to these people that are struggling. You know, they're going to continue to struggle. If you've got somebody that's telling you, if you've got somebody telling you to do something dishonorable, okay, don't do it. Don't do it. Especially from somebody that looks like a burnout. I mean, take it, at least if they had a suit or something on, you'd have some credibility, my goodness. Maybe. Or if they had an English accent. That always sells it, right? You ever notice that? They use English accents to make people look stupid here. Oh yeah, we better go buy that. That guy said it. You ever notice that? It's true. It's true. So anyway, well let's stop talking about Chris Hauser because he's boring, and I'm done with you, Chris. Look, go perfect something, and when you perfect something, come back and show us, and then we'll talk about it. But until then, go back to your house, hang up your phone, stop talking to people, do something for yourself, Chris. Really, so someone can look at your life and say, you know what, that's something I want to follow. Because I don't see nothing in his life I want to follow, or anybody else should follow for that matter. There's no fruits of the Spirit in what he's doing. And you need to look for those fruits of the Spirit. Because if you don't, you're going to be dealing with somebody that's shifty, and they're always going to shortchange you. Always. So let's talk about what's going to go on the 20th. On the 20th, December the 20th, we're going to have a tax, equity, and discharge class. Now, this class is for people that have a trust set up, or you have a business, and or have an EIN, an income. If you don't have income, you can't discharge anything. Nothing. Why? Because you have nothing coming in. So when you learn the tax game, and what we're going to be talking about on the 20th is we're going to be talking about completing the circle with your finances. And after you learn what that circle is, excuse me, after you learn what that circle is, you're going to see where your slot was falling short, and you'll see why. You'll see why. You'll be like, oh, that's why. Sorry. Dinner time. Excuse me. Anyway, you'll see why that it's kind of short thinking, and you'll see why. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll get it. In other words, you're going to get it. You're going to totally understand this. But everything that we do has to start somewhere and has to end somewhere. Okay. And if it starts somewhere and you've assessed it, when it ends somewhere and you assess it, then there's a remedy for that, and there's a reward for it. So we want to assess those things, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Unfortunately, your social security number, I don't care what Chris Hauser says, will not work. Okay? And here is why. You are chattel, okay? Which means you are just like cattle. They move things, they tow things around. That's what they do. They do work, they do labor, okay? And that's how your social security number is set up. It's set up to be a labor oriented discharge, basically discharge situation. But what happens is that folks with EINs and businesses are the ones that are allowed to do this sort of discharge. So those of you that have created a trust properly, if you're doing everything properly, you're paying your bills through your trust, and you're assessing all of those things through your trust for the purpose of your beneficiaries, of course, then you are allowed to claim all of the discharges available. In this class on the 20th, I'm going to be talking about all the forms, okay? What forms are we talking about? Class 5 gift forms. That's all the red forms. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about how they work, and we'll go from there. Those of you guys that are interested in the class, go to my webpage, House of Yah, that's YAH, communityoutreach.com. Schedule an interview with me, and we will get you set up for the class. Also, students, those of you guys that are out there and you have not registered for the class, some of you have paid for the class, but we haven't registered for it because we didn't have a date when you paid for it. Please get in touch with me. and make sure that we have you in the class. Peter, I got you in the class because nobody can forget you, buddy. But I got you there. But I know there might be somebody else, a couple of other folks that I might have missed. So if there's any of those students that have done that, please get with me. Some of this gray hair makes me forget things sometimes, so I do apologize, and I do blame it on the gray hair. Yes, I do. Anyway, and how much is the class? The class is 475. All benefits are going to go to the House of Yah Community Outreach. We are a full-blown nonprofit. Like I said, we are set up to help our homeless vets. We're also a big supporter of Teen Challenge. We support them regularly, as well as the as well as the young men independently as well. We're actually setting up some grants for them. It's going to be just it's going to okay. So Peter, it's going to be a 1 day class. It's going to be a 4 hour class, 6 to 10. And it's gonna be a monster class. It's gonna be just a head crushing class. You guys, I'm gonna take you from one side of the tax table to the other side of the tax table, and like I said, we'll have someone there that is qualified, more qualified than I am, to answer some of your personal tax questions. Whereas I've not been able to do that before because I'm not a tax professional. So all I can do is tell you what my experience is. Okay, Marilyn, I got you. Thank you. Um, I am looking forward to it, Peter. I'm looking forward to having Peter in the class, by the way. And those of you guys don't know Peter, well, you're gonna learn. His guy is he's like a machine. Like when you give him facts and things like that, he kind of processes them and then they come out and you're like, oh, really? And I mean, even I do it still. So I mean, I love having him in the class. He's really great. Like I said, we've got a lot of other great folks that are going to be in the class as well. So if you guys are interested, please go to the House of Yah Community Outreach, set up an interview with me. Let's talk. I want to make sure that number one, you're not a wacko, and most importantly, number two, that you understand that we're going to be talking about Yahweh a lot. So if you're part of that I know more than God crowd, then this is probably not going to be your class. It's just not. I promise you. There are no superior people in this class. Yahweh is the one. And I'm going to show you the rest. I'm going to show you what I know. So, I mean, if we just can't make that connection there, then I just, really don't want people like that in my group. So, respectfully, because we talk about Yahweh a lot, we go back to a lot of biblical principles. And if we're not absorbing them or if we're not all on the same team, then, somebody's going to feel kind of shortchanged at the end of the day. So, I try not to pressure that on people or make people feel like they have to have it if they're going to be around me or anything like that. It's just what it is. So, but anyway, get an interview with me. Let's talk about it. Let's make sure these classes work for you. We have 4 classes that are set up, and I have a schedule that's already set up for January. And it's going to be a really great month for January for all the classes. So I look forward to having y'all. Some of the things that we're going to be talking about too is tax strategies with your property. Did you know that you can actually lease your property to your trust? Did you know that? Did you know your trust can lease property to its trustees and individuals? Yeah, and that's an equitable situation for the trust and for the individual. Those are things I'll be talking about. Renters, yeah. How many of you guys rent out there? Pay rent? All right. Well, did you know that we could assess all of your rents and services? So anything with a service, anything that has anything to do with a service charge, that they ever charge you a service charge, this is how you get back at them. Oh yeah, assess it. Because now that they charge you the service charge, there's a form for that. We'll be talking about it. How'd you like to get 2/3 of your rent back in tax credits in your tax refund? Wouldn't that be cool? Sometimes it's cheaper to rent than it is to buy. I'll tell you, it's definitely been that way for us. So, and so I'll show you guys how to master that sort of situation. Something else we're going to be talking about too in that class is getting the note. Getting the note. What does that mean, getting the note? You guys ever played the game of life? Then you know what getting the note is. When you pay off your loan, there's a security agreement. And once that security agreement's performed, it's worth its face value. And you should have that back. But you also need to have the right account. Yeah. So we'll be talking about that stuff. Be good stuff. Be good stuff. Any questions, comments out there? Any of the students have any questions or comments from the class too? It could even be from that. That's totally fine.
Question, Tim.
Go ahead.
When we're putting our trust on the record, is that filed with both the Secretary of State and the county we currently reside in?
No, you do not file your trust on nowhere. It's private. It's a private document. Here's why you don't file your trust. If you file your trust and somebody wants to sue your trust, they can go after your beneficiaries. So you want to file your certificate of trust with your UCC1, but outside of that, the bank is the only one that should see your trust. Everything else is private. I know there's a lot of folks out there that tell people to go file their trust on the land record. They tell them that. And you just heard why you shouldn't do that, right? Because now you're putting all your beneficiaries in danger. Because what if you get sued? Then they're going to get sued. What if you die and you owed some money somewhere and it came out of nowhere? They could go after your beneficiaries. Oh yeah, he asked me about what happened in last week's meeting on YouTube. I forgot to put it up. I'm sorry. I had a busy class week. I do apologize. John says he had to give a few pages to the bank, but not all of it. So yeah, I mean, it just depends on who the bank is. They need to know who your successor trustees are, so that, you know, in the event that you're incapacitated, you know, they don't have to go back there. They don't have to ask you for the trust. They'll have it on file. But like in John's case, if something were ever to happen to you, you might want to tell your beneficiary or your successor trustee to make sure that they go into the bank with the trust. So if they have a copy of the trust, then they're good. All right. And I'll get that guy posted on you guys. I'm sorry. I just got lazy. I was grading papers. But anyway, no, we really had a great class. Last week's class, we were talking about travel and driving. And it was just wonderful. We covered so much ground, lots and lots of information. You know, and I just some nuggets from that class were really cool. Let's see. This is why the courts have oh wow. Wow. I'm sorry that happened. Wow. He was saying that this is did you say penetrated your trust? He did say. Yeah, he said that he said exactly that. He had some problems with his trust, and the lawyers went after his kids because the trust was on the public record, and they knew exactly how to find the kids. So no, you want to keep the stuff very private, and be wary of those people that ask you to put stuff or sign up with information. You know, give your information up and put it on like a you know, a hard drive, a backup file, a fiduciary list. Be leery of stuff like that. Stay away from that stuff, man. Hey Tori, how are you, buddy? Good to have you on the call, man. Had some nice pictures there. It was a nice truck stop you guys were in. But anyway, I just want to tell you guys that look for fruits in these people. Okay. And you know what? And some of them are just good for entertainment value. I'm not gonna lie. Look at James Freeman. He's a blast for entertainment value. And then and I mean, there's just tons of them other. They're great for entertainment value, but the real reality is that's not going to help you. That's not going to help your beneficiaries. And once you go through this step and you've gone through this process, you want to do everything that's going to benefit your beneficiaries, just as parents want to do everything that they would do for their kids to benefit from it the most. You know, everything they do, you want your kids to benefit from it. And yeah. Yeah, there is a lady. Her name's Anna Von Wrong, and she wants everybody to go sign people up on some database so she can get in there and manage all their stuff for them. Irresponsible. It's irresponsible. Don't do that. Don't give away your birthright like that. Don't sell your birthright like that. It's what you have is something that's very, very special. If you knew how to use it, that's the hard part. And and that is that's the goalpost that they're constantly moving with us, whether it be in the courthouse, right? Or whether it be, out on the street and you're talking to a cop. He's going to lie to you until, he convinces himself and you that he's smarter than you and over you, irregardless of what facts or what you say. That's a fact. So what we have to do is be in a position to where we don't have to engage these people. Yeah. And once you step out, you don't have to engage with these people anymore. And guess what? They won't engage with you anymore either. I promise you. I'm living, breathing proof of that. It's true. It's true. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Happy to entertain those. Any questions from class? Dale
Tim,
says, go ahead, Stacy.
I just wanted to let anyone who hasn't taken the travel class know it's fire and you need to take it.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, everybody
It
needs to
is
take the travel class. It was that
it
good,
is
right?
worth it. Yes. The document and the information that you're going to receive, it's not just hearsay, but Tim is actually giving you real life examples of how to work through this process. So if you have not done it and your other quote teachers are not showing improving, then you should really question the fruits of their spirit.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's wow. And I didn't pay her to say that. And those of you guys in TikTok land, that was one of my students. You guys didn't hear it, but that was one of my students. And she just really gave a testimonial and just said, "You really need to take this class. You really need to take the travel class because you're going to learn some things." And the big thing that you're going to learn with all of my classes is you're going to learn how to master equity. If you could master equity, you could beat everybody. Yeshua did it. That's why Pontius Pilate said, "I can do nothing with this one. Take him away." When the soldiers fell on their faces, why? Yeshua, he controlled the equity. He had equitable knowledge of everything that was going on, even over and above what those guys were saying, and they fell on their faces. That's how powerful the truth really is. And really that's what I teach. I teach you how to fine tune the truth to where it's a point. And no matter who's in front of you, it's going to chop them down. No matter what's wrong, no matter what's happening, no matter how much they lie, at the end of the day, equity always wins, and you will cut them down. That is the sword of the spirit. That is the truth. And when we walk in that absolute truth, guess who else is walking with you? No, not your wife. It's Yahweh. Yeah, man. Anyway, I'm gonna read this thing with Dale here real quick. It says Dale says he went to the post office today and asked for a mailing book, and the supervisor said he has not had a book that, or I guess he hasn't seen one for 20 years. He said to go online and print out the PS 3877 form and then copy a page and bring it to the post office to get stamped. You can do it that way. Yes, you can just print out the 3877 and have them stamp it at the post office. But the problem is that they require that you have to have three pieces of mail on that thing in order to do that. And they'll shoo you out of there if you don't. So remember that the magic number is always 3. And even if it means sending a certificate of mailed copy along with the certified mail copy, that's why you see that a lot. It's because they're using that for a mailing book and they need that third article. So keep that in mind, Dale. You may have to do that for a little bit and, and just try your way around different post offices with that printed page. And eventually somebody will give you a book. I promise. But you know what? Stacy's so awesome. Stacy said she'll send you one because she has extra. You see? You see what happens when you let Yahweh bring your people in? They bring you people like Stacy. They bring you people like Peter. They bring you people like Mike Romies. They bring you really, really great people. Angela Stewart, everybody, all of you guys. And this is why we do what we do. We're not a group of people that's trying to get there. We're a group of people that's already there. We got some people that we're helping get there, but we're already doing this. There's no mystery in what we're doing. There's no extra classes we need to go take. Okay. There's only one book that I look to first, and that's Yahweh's book, the Torah. After that, everything else is secondary. If you want to get clarity in your situation, okay, no matter how bad it is, ask Yahweh. Don't ask Jesus, he will help you. Ask Yahweh. Talk to him. He's got a name. Go ahead, Dale. What you got, buddy? Dale, you good?
I got the microphone. I got the microphone turned on. I think I was just
You're
writing
good, Dale.
to see how to. Okay, there's an email there. I see. I got it. Okay.
Good deal. Awesome.
I think we're good.
I'm glad you guys
Thanks.
connected. No problem, man. I'm glad you guys connected, and that's what we're here to do. So I want you to, consider that. Those of you guys that are, that's great that you got two books. You needed one for the trust and one for the notary. Sure. But when you walk in there with a completed page and ask for one and say, hey, I ran out and I had to print this one off, they'll give you another book if it's filled out right. That's how this stuff works, you see. So these books, the reason that they're so hard to get, it's because this is how you hold court. This is how you hold court, you guys. You don't wait for these people in the black robes on Halloween Day to tell you what the truth is. Truth comes from Yahweh. Truth comes by performance. Truth is established by a witness of two and no more than three. And if we use this ingredient, this will make you successful. This is what the Masons have been hiding from people, that they think is just, such divine truth. And it is divine truth. Sorry about that. But it is divine truth. The angels were sent down at the 33rd parallel. Yeah, that's why the 33 is such a big deal. And it is a big deal. You have the three. So, we have to operate with that same standard. You know what I mean? It's those of you guys that are Mac users, you can't just jump onto a PC and go boom, boom. It's the same stuff. No. The TV, the screen's the same. It's color screen and all, and the numbers are the same, but it's a completely different animal altogether. And they've done this on purpose. They've done this so they can keep this knowledge away from you. They want us to run around in circles. When we were kids, that's what we would do. We would taunt each other and watch each other run around in circles. Those of you guys that have little brothers, little sisters, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm one of those guys too. I had a big sister. I used to really get after her quite a bit. And and if you're out there and you're listening tonight, welcome. So I just, I really want to tell you guys, be careful. Look, man, there's people out there that are teaching people to expatriate themselves from the government, to turn in your social security numbers and this and that, to jump ship. Don't be a traitor to this country. Don't do that. We have a lot of freedom. You don't have to win. I'm sorry. I was looking down here at the bottom when I said that. I said you have to win, but we have to think about these things. Anybody else got any questions or comments about the class? Anything else? Awesome. Well, if you think of something, just interrupt me. It's totally cool. So, those of you guys that are interested in the UCC class or any of the other classes, just go to our webpage, check them out. They'll have more information there. We're going to be putting out some shirts as well that are going to be coming out. These are fundraisers for us. Keep your eyes peeled on the webpage. Those will be popping out here pretty soon as well. We would love to have your input on them, as well as if you like them, of course. We'd love to sell you some. So anyway, is there any other questions or comments? That's really all I wanted to cover tonight. I mean, Chris Hauser is really not much meat on that little chicken bone there. So it was kind of a no-brainer. But just remember that you cannot acquisition anything until you've bought it. Yeah. So I want you guys to remember that. Thanks, Angela, for joining us tonight. Glad you're here.
You have a question?
Go ahead, Stacey.
You had mentioned a potential connection for purchasing homes. Is that still in the works?
Well, okay, so a potential connection for purchasing homes?
So reaching out to someone that worked with people like us for mortgages.
Yes. So once you've set up a mortgage and once you're in a mortgage and currently in one, the December 20th class is going to benefit you tremendously. And you should be able to satisfy most of your mortgages, actually.
Excellent. Thank you.
So I'm going to show you guys how to acquisition those mortgages properly. And it's really funny. And I'm going to tell you one of the things that I noticed when I started now I've got acquisition in front of everything. I got it on the brain now. But when I started assessing things and, like payments going to the insurance company, when I started assessing those, all those payments, it was really funny. My insurance started to go down like a lot. Like those ones that are on TV when they tell you can get insurance as low as $29 a month, and you're like, oh, shut up. And that's not true. But my insurance actually got cut in half. It was amazing. So, I mean, maybe it was old age, maybe it was whatever, I don't know. But all I can tell you is that's what happened after I started doing it. And that's, I'm sorry, I was looking at this comment down here. Peter is saying his mortgage is owned by his LLC. I suspect that's going to get in the way. Not at all. Not at all. Your LLC has an EIN number and you can discharge it. You can discharge all your payments through there. So it's okay. Well, I'm really glad you guys joined tonight too. There you go. Angela, glad you're here. Thank you for showing up. And I've got this little thingy in here. So I'm hoping people are able to hear. Those of you guys in TikTok land are able to hear okay. That's really all I wanted to cover tonight. I wanted to make sure that we were good. Yes, I will cover the 8832 in the tax class. Absolutely. Absolutely. More importantly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you guys more about defending yourself. Those of you guys that have been through the classes and you've had situations that have happened and maybe you've had to, send out fee schedules. Those of you guys that have taken the travel class and you've had to send out fee schedules. Well, I'm going to show you how to fix that. I'm going to show you how to close all those out. So you're not like these other guys walking around with all their stuff in their glove box. I'm going to show you how to close all those out. And the funny thing is when you start closing those out, they don't want to write your tickets anymore. They just don't. Awesome. Any other questions, comments? What's in the bottom? No, man, I can't wait to. Yeah, David's got one in there. Yeah, we've got somebody that we've been working with and through a third party, and they accepted a fee schedule, and they'll be learning how to get cashed out. Yeah, Peter said what David said. Yeah, you two need to get together, man. You guys are definitely cut from the same tree. You're both very, very sharp. And I'm just really grateful to have such great folks around us in this class. And if any of you guys are feeling like you're up to par and you want to join this group, you want to get out of that, you want to set up your retirement, stop living in hoobie-doobie land, and you want to come down here with the rest of us, and I'll show you how it works, I'll show you how. Not only am I going to show you how they've been doing what they're doing to you, I'm going to show you how you can do it back to them. Yeah, legally. And this is the guy that's taken cars from banks. I've taken houses from banks. Legally. Completely legally. I know, isn't that a funny name? It really is. It's very true. So, you know, Stacy's nailing it right on the head. Invest in yourself and your family and get in the classes. Oh my gosh, she's awesome. And that's, yeah. Let's definitely talk soon. Good. Definitely positive vibration. We'll definitely talk about that. Oh, that's great. I'm looking forward to that. Somebody said that they're bringing a friend to our group. I'm looking forward to that. Definitely want to expand the group. And, you know, we want to build these homeless centers all over the country and use them as our spots. I mean, these are places that, well, I don't want to talk about that because it goes into too much detail. I don't want to talk about that. That's class stuff. But I have a really marvelous vision, and we'll talk about that in class. I don't talk about it on TikTok because people get their feelings hurt and they cry. So we don't deal with adults crying. It's just too late in the day to listen to adults cry. I'm telling you. I don't care how old you are. It's just too late in the day. Go ahead. Go ahead, Dale. No? Put Caroline back in the TV.
I mashed the wrong button somehow again.
It's
Sorry.
okay. I'll mash it back. Don't worry about it. You're good. Sound like they were trying to get Caroline out of the TV again. Just kidding. Well, listen, we'll go ahead and cut the call, you guys. Thank you so much for showing up, everyone. We'll see you guys next Monday night, 6 p.m. Central Time. The calls are not going to change anymore. In the months where we have Shabbat, and it falls on a conflicting day, we will just cancel the calls for the month. And Tim Dameron's going to take a month off when it comes to the calls. And that's just how we're going to do it because it's just too confusing to go back and forth. So I want to thank everybody else for paying attention and showing up. I know it's been really tricky. Those of you guys that want to get signed up for the classes, set up an interview. House of Yah, communityoutreach.com. Check us out. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a blessed evening. Good night, everyone. Shalom, everyone.